I'm off to leave for Mexico, and I know one thing when I go on vacation: my Kindle is my best friend. Specifically, KU is that girl. I will be sitting by a pool, maybe in the pool, with this in my hands at all times. And so I need to restock it, and I've done some research on some fantasy romances, specifically, that I'm really interested in reading. I will not get to all of these on my trip. No way. I probably will only read one or two, but I am a mood reading girly, and I like to have options. I like to have dessert all in front of me, and I can pick the one that I want in the moment. So let's go through what I make sure that I have downloaded from KU before I hop on that plane. Okay, the first one I know I have to have downloaded, I've talked about quite a few times already on my channel. It was my TBR video, and then also was in the last recommendation video I had for school settings, and it's Of Blades and Wings by Eliza Rain. I'm very, very excited about this one. This one just sounds so good to me that I really do hope I get to it in Mexico. There's no guarantee what I get to because mood reading is a vibe. This one follows our main character, who is nothing. She's no one. She has been born with no fae powers, which is not the best. She's been taught that her life is essentially forfeit, that there's nothing special about her. She's essentially been wiped from existence, like no one knows she exists. However, her twin sister is destined for greatness. Her twin sister is meant to be a Valkyrie. But when they come to take her sister to this school setting to train to be a Valkyrie, she is accidentally picked up instead, and no one believes that she doesn't belong there, except for maybe one professor who begrudgingly is there, and they might have to work together for the safety of all of Faekind. Listen, I love me a mentor-mentee relationship. I know it can be toxic, but I'm here for it in my books. I love a school setting, a training setting. I love a woman who is going to really come into her power and her strength after the world has like stepped on her, and when she really accepts who she is and has some like feminine rage to her. I love that element of her like finding herself. So I'm very much excited to read this. I just think it's so relatable for all of us to find ourselves after society has told us one thing, and so I really do enjoy reading about it. The next one I know I need to make sure is saved is A King of Flesh and Bone by Liv Xander. I recently read the Court of Ravens duology by the same author and was obsessed with the writing style, the atmosphere, the themes, and also the world building. I think the world building really blew me out of the water. It was so unique and something very intricately done, and I was so shocked because I was expecting a paranormal, dark fantasy romance when I went into it. So I'm very, very excited to try something else from this author. I really don't know that much about this one. It's a dark fantasy romance, and if it's anything like the Court of Ravens duet, it's going to be dark. The Court of Ravens duet was so dark. It definitely is not for everyone. There's a lot of trigger warnings, so I'm assuming this will also be the same. I know we're following a ruthless king, and he's obsessed, and when our main character stumbles into his territory, he terrifies her even more, and he ends up trying to show her pleasure. I think it's a little captive capty. Can't 100% say at this point in time, but I am just very interested to see what is in store for me in this world building. The synopsis doesn't really give it away at all, and just to dive back into this writing style that I loved so much. So definitely can't wait to read this one. It's also enemies to lovers for sure, and only 250 pages, so maybe a good plane read. Next one is Spark the Flames by Ivy Asher. This one's following our main character whose kin has been slaughtered, and the whole world thinks the wyverns did it, but she knows the truth and she's hiding its secret. She is hiding in the walls of the city. She's trying to just get by without being seen until the day comes where she can get her revenge on the dragons who she knows the actual truth about. I love a revenge story. I do also think that this one might be captive captee. As I read the synopsis, it does sound like the king's second son finds her and keeps her captive. I am okay with captive captee as long as they're not treated like a slave, if that makes sense. So like slave and master doesn't work for me, but I feel like there is a difference between captive captee and slave and master. It's a fine line, but I do find that there is a difference, and I am okay with the captive side, but not necessarily the slave master side. So I am still excited about this one. I actually didn't realize it was captive captee until like this moment, to be honest. I feel like this has newly been added to the synopsis, but maybe I'm wrong. But I'm still really interested in this one. It's a dragon shifter, and I believe he's got elemental fire magic, and I've been really into fire wielders right now. I think that they're in. Shadow daddies are out. So definitely intrigued. I have read from Ivy Asher before and enjoyed her writing. I didn't absolutely like love it, but I enjoyed it. I'm excited to see if maybe this story will work for me a little bit better than the last one I read. The next one that I've downloaded is The Scattered Bones by Nicole Scarano. I've seen this on TikTok quite a bit, and I'm just like very much interested to try it. I don't know if it's 100% going to be for me from what I've seen, but I'm always willing to give books a shot, especially if they sound intriguing at all. And this one is a standalone, which I think is great. And I know it is also a dark romance, and I've been really in my dark romance era. Like, dark fantasy romance has been what I really am craving these days. This one follows our main character, Sela, who has been given to the goddess. She's been the goddess chosen, which is one of the highest things that can happen to you. It was her sacred duty to remain pure and untouched for the goddess, and she has taken that very seriously until one day Cade comes into her life and she falls in love with him and she can't resist him, but he has been taken from her. But a mysterious man known as the Stranger comes and promises to return Cade to her if she finds each of her loved ones' scattered bones. His severed body is hidden in the darkest corners of the realm, and the quest is an impossible task, yet she must make the dangerous journey alone, using only her faith and fight. The tasks at hand are brutal and they are not easily won. I'm assuming there's going to be some trial aspect to this one as well, which always has me intrigued. I don't necessarily love quest stories that much, but I love trials, and I feel like if the quest has trials to it, that could really keep me turning the pages and has me very intrigued by this one. I feel like it sounds different than a lot of the things I've read, which is always nice and refreshing. The next one is actually very new to my TBR, but I'm so excited about it. It's called Goldson by Evelyn Knight. I'm not 100% this is fantasy, but it is tagged as fantasy on Goodreads, but it's also tagged as contemporary, so I don't really know. But I know it's a dark romance, and as I said, I've really been craving those, and I want to try more dark romance in general, even if they aren't fantasy. I truly don't really know a lot about this one. I just know it's her ex-boyfriend's brother, and I feel like that will be juicy. The wealthy in this are dying, and our main character is an orphan girl who's been raised within them. Julian Harrow takes interest in her again. I think there has been a past relationship there. She's known him her whole life, and she knows having his blue eyes follow her every move is a bad sign. He's ignored her for years, and now she's all he sees. And it sounds like she has some secrets that she's keeping from him and doesn't want him to know. I'm intrigued. I'm definitely intrigued. It does say it's a dark romance, and to check trigger warnings. I'm interested in trying new things, and sometimes I feel like on vacation is like the perfect place to do that, because it's just like I have nothing else going on, so may as well try some new things. The next one is Kingdom of Fallen Ash by Katharina St. Clair. I've also seen it just called The Order, which I think is the series title. This is a dystopian romantasy, and after I read Silver Elite and loved that, I need more of that in my life. I've always loved dystopian. The Hunger Games, Divergent, Scythe, Wool, The Handmaid's Tale. Like, I am a dystopian lover at my heart, and I think this new blend, well, it's not new because Divergent, Hunger Games, Scythe all have a pretty heavy romance plotline in them, but this version that has more romance in it, but also can still discuss the dystopian topics for me has really worked for me, because yes, I'm looking for escapism, and so that romance part really does work, but I also love the deep discussions on real political things, and so I love the blend of the two of them. It's also my favorite blend in romantasy. It's why I don't read a lot of contemporary romance, is I like to have both portions. In this world, it's essentially divided between the privileged untouchables and the struggling unfortunates. It's giving uglies to me. The untouchables, draped in opulence and power, govern the city with an iron fist, casting long shadows over the unfortunates who are the working class. The unfortunates navigate a world stacked against them. They have meager resources and restricted opportunities, and the social chasm continues to widen daily. I'm assuming from the synopsis we have a romance on either side. It follows two sworn enemies, an ambitious untouchable seeking to challenge the system from within, struggling to cope as the lies of her society unfold in front of her, and the other an unfortunate yearning for a chance to seek vengeance on any and every untouchable in his path. Also, I do kind of like this because I feel like most dystopian that I've read, the male is the privileged one and the female is the not so privileged one. And so So I do like that it's the other way in this one, and I think that could make for some interesting conversations as well. The bottom of the Goodreads synopsis says, the question is, can free will exist in a society that's divided? When dystopian hits for me, it hits, and so I am very excited to try this one. The next one, again, I'm not sure if it is fantasy at all. It might just be contemporary, but it's Insatiable by Lee Rivers. If he can't have her, no one else can. Cade Mitchell is obsessed with someone he despises. A snake in an angel skin, Stacey Rhodes is everything he can't forget, the girl who shattered his heart and drove him deep into the darkness of the underworld. He watched her for years, killed anyone who came close to her, but now granted a brief moment of freedom from the life he's trapped in, he's back home and driven to claim her again at breaking every rule he's ever made for himself. Not even his hatred can stop the pull between them, but he'll never forgive her, will he? Dark romance, enemies to lovers is second chance. I think that it could work for me a little bit better in dark romance, and I'm willing just to try some of those because they tend to really pique my interest, so I may as well give it a shot. And this one sounds good. I've heard really, really good things about this one. Okay, the next one I have seen everywhere on Book Talk. It has been blowing up. It's gonna be the next Book Talk book maybe. The Lies of Lena by Kylie Snow. I know nothing about this. I have not read the synopsis. I've just seen everyone shouting about it on Book Talk, and I always like to try the Book Talk books. Sometimes I agree with them, sometimes I disagree with them, but I like to be in on the hype these days, and Book Talk is really where a lot of the book hype comes from. So I like to try some things. I like to let you guys know if we can trust Book Talk. Sometimes we can, sometimes we can't. Passionate and dark, forbidden romance, forced proximity, and angst. It's a dark romantasy that will progressively get darker as the series continues. Please be mindful of the content warnings. I think you can see a trend. I'm really into the darker romances right now. I think the darker themes are just really working for me. As I said, I like the blend of escapism and conversations about real world issues, and I feel like dark romance does that really well. We discuss trauma, we discuss what's going on in society, but we also have a romance to escape into. Is it toxic most of the time? Yes. Do I want that for my real life self? No. I have a perfectly nice boyfriend who treats me the best of the best and would never do all of these things, but I like to read about it. I like to enjoy those aspects. I like a red flag man in my books, even though in real life I'm all about the green flags. We follow our main character who is a mage, and in this world, mages are discriminated against. There are no laws to protect them, and so people are hunting them for sport. She's really kept herself hidden, and when she finds a permanent place to live, she ends up also finding someone to teach her a little bit about weaponry. But as her and her feelings for Quill tend to change and progress, she starts to feel a little something about how she can never really tell him who she actually is. I do believe it's a love triangle or some aspect, maybe poly or something like this, as another male is brought into the synopsis. Silas, who is the crown prince. He's never known freedom since the kidnapping of his younger sister. He has never been allowed to leave the castle, but one day everything changes when the queen does let him decide to leave, and he probably meets our main character. Truly, it's not a crazy amount of books that I'm saving, but it's definitely more than I can read on a 5-day vacation. But I figured since I can be nosy and want to know what people plan on reading when they're on vacation, and also just learning things on KU is always helpful for me, that I would share this video. Let me know if you have any KU recs, because maybe I'll have to try and download them really quickly before I hop on that plane. And if you made it all the way to the end of this video and you'd like to leave me an emoji just to say you were here, leave me a swimsuit emoji since we're packing our bags. I'll leave some more romantasy recommendations on the screen for you to check out, and have yourselves an absolutely remarkable day.